Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
God has blessed me so much. I had a challenge last year to record God's blessings, little things and big things, and to thank God for 1,000 blessings. I decided not to number them until I got close to the end of the year. When I did, I found out I had recorded over 1,500 blessings. And those were just the ones I could think of at the end of each day. In Genesis 12:1-3, God promised to bless Abram. He said He'd show Abram a new land, make him into a great nation, bless him, and make his name great. But the last 3 promises weren't only for Abram, but for the rest of the world. God said, "You will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and curse him who curses you. And in you, all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So the 5th promise is, you will be a blessing. I never really thought about this until a friend of mine disciplined her child for a bad attitude and asked him, "Are you being a blessing right now?" That really hit me, because God can give us plenty of opportunities to be blessings to others in a multiplicity of ways. But we have a choice to be a blessing or to drag others down. In Abram's case, as he followed the Lord, he'd be a blessing to others. They'd be better for being around him. Of course, this didn't happen when he was out of God's will, like when he traveled to Egypt later in chapter 12. But in general, he'd be a blessing to others. How does God use you to bless others? How have you missed being a blessing because you weren't on the right track yourself? The 6th promise connects with the 5th promise. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. Anyone going against Abram had to deal with God first. Now remember the first one who had been cursed in the Bible? That would be the serpent. So the choice is to align with the seed of the serpent or with the seed of Abram. Any nation that goes against Israel does so at their own risk. I don't normally get political, but according to the Bible, our nation ought to support Israel, and God will bless us for it. This has been a promise throughout the ages. And as Gentile Christians, we ought to be praying for the peace of Jerusalem and that God will bring His people to know Him. The last promise God gave Abram here is my favorite. It says, "In you, all the families of the earth will be blessed." All families. This is a promise of the Messiah. God's plan was to use Abram's family to bring Jesus into the world and save the world through him. That includes us. In Revelation 5:9, we see people from every tribe, tongue, people, and nation before God's throne, praising and worshiping Him forever. 7 promises. From our vantage point, they've all been fulfilled, though a few more fulfillments will happen at the second coming. But from Abram's vantage point, he could only have faith. God asked a lot of him, leaving everyone and everything he's ever known, leaving comfort and security, trusting everything to an unknown God. But Abram knew he could stay where he was and be nothing, or go out on an adventure with God and have everything. How is your adventure with God going?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.